Okay, for the sake of demonstration, I've turned the light off here. You can see that the light kind of blocks everything out so you can't really see. And the black light is still even a little bit too bright. So we'll just do it without any extra light. And you can see that we've set everything out in pieces. They're just raw edge cut out just simply with a regular pair of sewing scissors. And then I just laid them out for spacing and for colors. And I got everything kind of where I'd like it in terms of kind of an artistic layout. And I'm just going to flip this back, and I'm using the same green colored thread that I used in this little under decoration that I put in first. We're gonna send our thread in, pull my bobbin thread up here. A little harder to see because we've got the lights turned off. And I'll take a few tacking stitches, and off we go. I'm about a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch from the outer edge of this leaf, and the purpose of that is so that once it goes through the washing machine, it's going to fray and have a little lofty, tattered edge. Now, we've been around one full time outlining this leaf, and it doesn't have to be perfect because the idea is to have the stitches look like scribbling, sort of like you're sketching with needle and thread. Now I'm going to go around and I'm going to be a little bit more wavy. I'm going to go right over that line again, but I'm going to be a little bit wavy with my stitches. And the purpose of this is, like I said, for it to look more like a sketch. And so that's twice. Now we're going to go one more time, splitting the difference, more like scallopy, and I'm going to go around one more time. And now that is sewn down good and proper, so that even if it frays, even when it frays, it's going to be okay after the laundry. It won't fray all the way so that it's impossible, because there are 3 rows of stitches holding it all down now. And I'm going back here and I'm trimming off these little loose ends, because now we're just going to flop this over and we're going to do the bottom layer. This is the leaf. We're doing the bottom layer of the flower next. And I did a little over stitching over here so that we could enter. I'm not going to break thread. I'm just going to go ahead back and catch this in very much the same way. One time around, about 1/4 of an inch, maybe slightly less, all the way around the outside, leaving a little area that will fray on our applique. And now we've gone around one full time. I'm sort of easing it in with my fingers. And now we'll go kind of a zigzaggy, sketchy stitch. Just easy, does it? It doesn't have to be fancy or perfect. And now we'll do one sort of splitting the difference, sort of more like a wavy line, a sort of a gentle scallopy line. And now our applique is on to stay, except for the very outer edges that are loose cut, which will obviously, when we wash it, these will all fray and it'll get kind of fluffy looking. And now we're going to go in and we're going to do our second layer. I'll just go right in here and gently, almost 1/4 of an inch from the outer edge. And now a wavy line. And a scallopy line. And this one goes on top next. And on this one, I'm going to go into the center and I'm going to make just some little decorative sort of veins, like almost like stamen coming out from the center of my flower. So there's a little bit of design, and then I'm just going to stop in the very center where I did those stamens, and I'm going to break thread. And we'll tie that off. take our bobbin thread up here and snip away the extra threads. And then let me turn the light back on and let me get away here where you can have a good look. Let's see, there we go. Now you can have kind of a lit idea of what we're after. And see this little lifted edges, all of those lifted edges are going to fray when we put it through the wash. This fabric is going to pucker in between all of our pretty little decorative stitches, and then I'll go in at the very end after I've sewn down all of these little appliques. I'll go back in and I'll do our border, and then we'll take it off and have a look.